So in this one, myself, Carlos Gautier, from the Corvus Belli team, the creators of Infinity, are going to have a look at the Yu Jing faction, which is the massive Asian faction. These guys are the rivals to PanOceana. They're not as big as PanOceana, but I would imagine they're not far away.
Not very.
Gautier, what can you tell us about the Yu Jing?
Well, Yu Jing is the former People's Republic of China who has expanded and controls all the Asian nations. That includes Korea, Japan, Vietnam, etc., etc. And changes his name, being not only China, changes to Yu Jing, which means Jade Capital. And the symbol of Yu Jing is the Chinese symbol for jade. The Yu Jing are in the second line, and they don't like that. PanOceana is the first, and Yu Jing knows his manifest destiny is to reach the supremacy, and Yu Jing is prepared to reach the supremacy, fighting, manipulating, or even seducing or bribing any rival who can find in their path. So Yu Jing is ready to achieve that destiny, and he has the resources to do that.
So they're a very ambitious faction. They want to be number one. They want to have supremacy. Yu Jing actually have something interesting in the Infinity universe, that they have a binary planet. So they've actually most people jump for joy if they discovered a planet. That they discovered two planets actually orbiting each other while orbiting a star. Those planets have names. It's Jutang
and Shentang.
Shentang. Can you tell us a little bit about the planets and who lives on which?
Yeah, in Jutang lives the most of the people who comes from China, or the Chinese, especially the Han ethnia. And in Shentang lives the other people from the Asia. It lives the Japanese, the Korean, Thai, Cambodia, Vietnam, and those. In Shentang, for example, there are some Shaolin temples in there. It's separate, but all of Yu Jing citizens are seeing, because the planets are so near that you can see the other planet in the sky.
That must be an amazing sight. The Yu Jing have two sectorial armies. They have the Japanese sectorial army and the Imperial Service.
Right.
Again, as with the other armies and factions in Infinity, you could play a general Yu Jing faction where you can draw the best troops for your crack commando squad from all of the army list, or you could specialize in a sectorial army. For example, the Japanese are particularly good and have a great tactic called awesomeness. You've just sprinkled all the awesome sauce over those guys.
Well, it's written on the fluff that the Japanese are usually used as cannon fodder by the officials, Chinese officials. So, but they are all allowed to have their own sectoral army. That Japanese sectoral army, well, is one of the favorite armies for the fans of Infinity, because Infinity is most based in manga and anime, and so the Japanese have a lot of weight there. But in terms of tactica, when you are playing the Japanese sectoral army, you will have certain lack of long-range weapons, but a lot of awesome things more, because you can deploy a lot of ninjas. You can have a lot of ninjas in your army list. And then there are also the bikers, the Aragoto bikers, which are really cool troops.
I think the bikers look especially cool. So you can have armies with bikers and ninjas, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I take it the fact that they lack a lot of long-range weapon options is made up with the fact that bikers can probably move quite a distance.
Yes, yes. And they do not have special visors, but, well, their light infantry, their line troopers, the Keisotsu Butai, are very good miniatures, and they behave very well for that army because they're cheap and they can make the fighting, and they behave very well. And long-range weapons for light infantry, for line troopers, is usually cheaper, so you can fulfill that gap with them.
The Yu Jing army in general has a lot of heavy infantry.
Yes,
Yeah.
plenty variety of them, and with very different tactical roles to play. The Dao Fei, which is this one here, is a camouflage trooper, also has infiltration, and that is not usual for a heavy infantry that has a high armor value and 2 wounds. So you can make a lot of damage. You can really have fun with the Dao Fei.
The Yu Jing army also is the close combat specialists of Infinity. Now, Infinity is not particularly a close combat game. There is some close combat elements to it, but it's not renowned for its close combat game. It is a shooting game. But if you were going to play close combat, obviously the army with all the ninjas and the samurais in it is going to be the way to
and
go.
the monofilament swords, like this guy here, the Imperial Agent, or the Oniwaban also has monofilament swords.
Now, monofilament is a fantastic technology in Infinity. A monofilament is a blade that is 1 molecule thick. It's kind of held together with electromagnetism and all this fancy stuff, but the idea is that this blade is so sharp that it can cut through anything.
Yeah.
And it reduces armor values to 0.
Yes.
So when this thing cuts you, it cuts you in half.
Yeah, and if you
you're
fail the
dead.
armor roll, you are directly dead.
It doesn't matter how many wounds you have,
And how big you are and
this
how
is going to
everything.
cut you up.
Yes.
So the Imperial Service then is the other sectorial army. Can you tell us a little bit about the Imperial Service, Gautier, what its role is?
Well, the Imperial Service is on the surface of the Emperor. When Yu Jing was created, and the party who leads this power realizes that the citizens need a character to follow, and then they recovers the figure of the Emperor. And the Emperor receives power. He controls the judiciary power, so he has control over the courts, the judge, and the police. The Imperial Service are this police who is serving the Emperor, of course, Yu Jing too. But it's the dark side of Yu Jing, because the Imperial Service act as military police, but he search dissidents inside the Yu Jing policy. So sometimes people disappear from his houses and disappears in the center of the Imperial Service, and you never will be seen again. So that's the main interest of this faction. They are police, but a dark side police. They also can line up mercenaries like Lucien Forza, who is a bounty hunter, and even troops from Aleph.
Yeah, I guess the Imperial Service is maybe the more dark tone and sinister force between all the human armies.
So we have an army here in the Yu Jing that have a certain amount of an internal struggle. It feels, if the Japanese are considered cannon fodder, they'll do their duty, but it doesn't sound to me like they're particularly happy about it. But like a lot of the armies, Infinity is like a political cobweb of possibilities and espionage and all kinds of inner secrets going on, and the Yu Jing seem to represent that again, just in a single faction. So tactically then, Carlos, these guys, they've got the heavy infantry, they've got the close combat specialists, they've got lots of guys who can either be camouflaged or infiltrate. They're going to be a skillful army, and they're going to be one that you're going to you're not going to stand and shoot with these guys. Movement's going to be very important for a Yu Jing army.
Yes, and also the Imperial Service has some troops from Aleph, because Aleph collaborates with the Emperor in that kind of way. So you can also feel Tatbog Garudas or the Sophotectum, which are very powerful Aleph troops inside your army list. And also, again, with the sectoral armies, you can make fire teams, and in the Imperial Service, you can make fire teams of heavy infantries, and that behaves very well.
And what is the benefit of a fire team? A fire team allows you to move it as one unit, spend one action or one order rather than spending multiple orders to move
and
them.
the more miniatures there are forming the fire team, and that's between 3 miniatures or 5 miniatures, they will have more bonuses.
Yes.
When you have a fire team made by 3 miniatures, they will all have another dice in their BS rolls.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a fire team made by 4 miniatures, they will also gain a few skills, like the Sixth Sense that allows them to not be surprised by camo markers.
Yeah.
And when you make the real deal, the 5-man fire team, they all achieve a +3 to their ballistic skill. So they shoot more, they shoot better, and they cannot be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And people really try to make the 5-guy fire team.
A 5-man fire team. Well, there you have it for the Yu Jing. If close combat's your thing, or if just shatteringly beautiful miniatures are your thing, then the Yu Jing may well be the army of choice for you. Check it out. We have some links in the show notes below, and stay tuned as we explore the rest of Infinity's factions.